Hello, friends. Sorry we have to do this so early in the semester. This was unexpected, not a planned absence for me. Don't worry, I'm not doing anything fun. So anyway, we're gonna get started. Your due now is in the ed puzzle to write a few sentences about these questions. So we're talking about beauty standards today in class, and also a grammar topic at the same time. So what is considered hot or beautiful in your generation? How do you know what that standard is? Where do you get your ideas or messages about what is beautiful? And what kinds of features are excluded from those standards of beauty? So you can answer any of these questions that you want. Go ahead and do that now in the ed puzzle. Okay. So that's kind of the topic that we're talking about. It's a major topic in The Bluest Eye, the book that we're going to be reading. So think about standards of beauty. We're going to read an article about sort of a certain aspect of that today. And also we're going to learn about transition words. So here's our objective. We will be able to use accurate transition words to signal the relationships between ideas when reading and writing about beauty standards. So your homework is not really homework, but it is the ELA assignment on Monday. So instead of an Albert assignment this week, you will be doing an ed puzzle that Miss Augustinelli will assign in her Google Classroom. So please make sure that you do that assignment on Monday. It's very important. You'll be reading the prologue to The Bluest Eye on ed puzzle, just answering some questions about it. So please make sure you do that assignment. Okay, some other announcements. Make sure you get a copy of The Bluest Eye from school on Monday. That's happening 8:30 to 1 on Monday. If your camera or mic doesn't work, you got to get it fixed. Email Mr. Royal. Again, make sure you do that Monday assignment for Miss Augustinelli. And as a reminder, I have to move because my webcam. Verbal participation is part of your weekly participation grade. Obviously, this week, I only saw you once, so I'm not going to count it against you if you didn't talk in class on Wednesday. But going forward, when we see each other 2 times a week, plenty of opportunities to chime in, come off mute, and make your voice heard. So remember, that's part of your participation grade. Okay. Oh, if we were in class right now, we would be having a riveting discussion about standards of beauty based on your answers to the do now. We're not together. I'm bummed. So we are going to do some practice choosing the correct transition word. So let's look at this question here. Hopefully you can see this, and I'll copy this into the ed puzzle as well. So this question asks basically, what is the correct transition word to put in this sentence? So beauty standards change all the time. However, people shouldn't get too caught up in them. Beauty standards change all the time. Therefore, people shouldn't get too caught up in them. Or beauty standards change all the time. Moreover, people shouldn't get too caught up in them. So what do you think is the correct answer? Answer now in the ed puzzle. Okay, if you said therefore, if you said B, you'd be correct. So instead of discussing, I want you to type into the ed puzzle, what did you have to do to determine the correct transition word? Why did you know that was the correct answer? Okay, so hopefully you said something like these key points. So basically transition words show relationships between ideas. Relationships can be time-based, right? What happened first, next, last. First this happened, then this happened, right? That's the relationship between those ideas. Or logical relationships, right? We could be contrasting ideas, we could be adding on, we could be showing a cause and effect, we could be giving an example. So in this question, the reason that we should use therefore is because this is a cause and effect relationship. Because beauty standards change all the time, that means that people shouldn't get too caught up in them, right? Cause, they change all the time. Effect, people should not get too caught up in them. It's not a contrasting relationship. It's not an adding on relationship. So you need to determine the central idea of each phrase or sentence that you're transitioning between. You need to determine the relationship between those ideas by asking, are these ideas different or contrasting? Is the first causing the second? Are we adding on with a similar or additional point? Or is this a time or sequence relationship? So then once you've determined the relationship between the ideas, eliminate the options that don't reflect that relationship and or just choose the word that does reflect the correct relationship. So we're going to do a lot of practice. If you are confused about all of this, don't worry. We will be doing a lot of practice in today's class and moving forward. So you have a list also in your classwork document of transition words. So, these different types of transition words are used differently. They're used grammatically differently, but they serve the same basic function. So contrast, for example, is one relationship between two ideas, right? I want to go to the store. However, my car's out of gas. Contrasting ideas, right? So these are a bunch of conjunctive adverbs that you can use to contrast, but and yet are coordinating conjunctions, fanboys. Remember we learned about fanboys. And then subordinating conjunctions, awubis, that was the other fun acronym, although and while. So pretty much all these relationships have, plenty of different options for what transition word you can use. They're all used a little differently in terms of like how you punctuate them and stuff, but they basically serve the same function. All right, so we're gonna practice together once again. So we're gonna do 3 questions from this article together. You're gonna finish it and answer the rest of the questions on your own. There will be an answer key in your classwork document, but please don't look at it until you have actually answered the questions so that you can actually do the learning, right? Figure things out. So on a recent afternoon at a Chicago elementary school, Layden Brumfeld asked a group of 9 and 10-year-old African-American girls to define beauty. The nearly 20 girls unanimously agreed that if a woman had short, kinky hair, she was not beautiful. Blank, then Broomfield, the director of a project empowering young girls, passed around a photograph of Lupita Nyong'o, the dark brown-skinned actress who wears an extra short afro. The girls, who attended Dewey Elementary Academy of Fine Arts, were silent for a moment. So, what do you think is the correct answer? Put your answer in now. And if you said, but, you were correct. So, we have a contrasting relationship. Right? The girls agree that short, kinky hair is not beautiful, but then Broomfield passed around a photograph of this beautiful woman who has this short afro, right? So contrasting ideas. They think one thing, but then they're presented with this contrasting evidence that their idea was incorrect. Then, once again, their answer was unanimous. They agreed Nyong'o was beautiful. All right, so put in your answer. And if you said A, no change, you were correct. This is a time relationship, right? First one thing happened, then another thing happened. It didn't happen first, right? This was after she gave them the photograph. It wasn't before. When, we can't use that with a comma after it. It just doesn't work. And then let's do one more together. It's like they had to make a mental readjustment, said Broomfield, founder of the nonprofit Girls Rule. They could see she was beautiful. Blank, this was in conflict with the overwhelming message they received from the media about having to have long hair. So put in your answer. And if you said D, however, you would be correct. And to justify the response, we would say these are contrasting ideas, right? They could see she was beautiful. However, this was in conflict with the message that they had absorbed throughout their lives, right? So conflicting, contrasting ideas. We have that clue word in conflict, right? That shows that we are contrasting ideas. Okay, so now you are going to answer the rest of the questions in the article in your classwork document. Make sure you justify your responses when you are asked to do that. And then after you answer all of the questions, then check the answer key. I didn't give you the answers for the fill in the blank ones or for the justifications for your answers. So make sure that you are actually thinking this. You have to do some stuff on your own. Can't just use the answer key. So yeah, complete that. And then the exit ticket will not be linked in the Zoom chat for you. It will be linked in the classwork document. So check your answers, figure out what you did wrong, right? Figure out your mistakes, and then do the exit ticket once you have learned from those mistakes, right? It's a learning process. Still got to take responsibility for your learning. We will eventually have a quiz on this if that motivates you to take ownership over your learning. But yeah, so, and your exit ticket will be graded, right? So please, if you do not feel confident doing the exit ticket, that's fine. You can wait to do the exit ticket until after you see me in office hours on Monday. So if you are feeling unconfident about your answers on the practice, wait to do the exit ticket, and we can go over stuff in office hours on Monday, and then you can do the exit ticket after we've had some FaceTime. So, because I know it's asynchronous work is hard. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. Please contact me with any questions or issues. I will be out of contact for this Friday afternoon, but I'll be working on the weekend. So let me know if you need anything. And sorry for this last minute asynchronous work.